Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cupid's Coach podcast. I'm your host, Julie Ferman, inviting you to transform me to we through your very own process of doing dating better. And you're going to have a leg up this morning because I have a beautiful, wonderful guest with me today. Her name is Natalia Hart, and I'll tell you all about her. She has been helping people, especially women, strong women, capable, accomplished women, do dating better. And one of the reasons I'm excited to have her on the program is because I just had recently Evan Mark Katz on the program, who also is a dating coach for strong, accomplished women. And I'm interested to hear what the woman's perspective is about how to do dating well compared to the man's perspective. So welcome to the program, Natalia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you to your audience for listening to us today.
I'm so glad we're connected. Tell us a little bit first about your story and how you came in to do this type of work and your personal life, what that's all about, like how you did this thing we call dating.
Well, my story started when I was super young. I was 14 years old, and I had this epiphany where I saw where I was going in my life, and I didn't like it. I was just following after my, the imprint that I had,
Mm.
and it wasn't a place I wanted to go. So I took it up into my own hands and started reading every single self-development book I could find. And I decided at that very young age that I wanted to become a psychotherapist. I went to college for that. I am a college dropout. I have to say, I didn't get the degree, but I did go to university and I got trained for 4 years to be a psychotherapist. And I was at the same time becoming a super strong woman. I had my first brick and mortar business when I was 22, and it was very successful. So I was very strong. I was an athlete. I looked great. I had everything, that any young woman wanted. I had girlfriends and everything was good, but my love life wasn't fulfilling. So that is in my 20s. I fast forward to my late 20s, almost 30s. I moved to the States, and
Where did you come from, Natalia?
I was born and raised in Argentina.
Hmm.
Yes, and I have been living in the States for half of my life, 25 years now. So I moved to the States and things changed completely. Everything changed around me. And one of the things that changed is that if I wanted to be a psychotherapist here, I needed to go back to school, and I couldn't do it at the moment. So coaching fell on my lap. A client just shared with me an experience she had with coaching, and I said, I'm going to do it. And I didn't even have the means to do it at that time, to be honest. I was brand new here, still, figuring out what I was going to do. But I charged it on my credit card, and my whole life made sense. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like a big awakening moment going through that experience, and I fell in love with it. And I started to, that was 20 something years ago, and I started to take all the coaching I could get. I got so many certifications, and I got very, very deep into it. And I am in my early 30s one day, sitting in my car outside of my house with my husband, at the moment, ex-husband now, inside of the house with another woman. And that was the moment I think I was 32, where you know, I was sitting in my car and I was like, okay, Natalia, You got the business side, you got the athleticism side, you got, your friendship side. Everything was good. But your love life, girl. So I told myself, you are going to become an adult in relationships. That's what I told myself. And that's what transformed all my quest, self-development, high performance, peak performance that I was using for all the other areas of my life. I put all that energy into my love life. And so that was the beginning. It was a long time ago. There were not love coaches that I knew about. There was no YouTube, no podcast, nothing. And because of my background in psychology, I went to the library and got a book on communication. That was my first book. And I started from there. I took it from there. And spent a few years, 3 years, learning all I could. I went on 200 first dates. Well, I got divorced, by the way. Okay. Forgot to say that detail. I
Mm-hmm.
got rid of that guy and I took a year off, no dating. I went back to Argentina, spent a month and a half with my family, regrouped, and I came back and I started doing all this work. And then I took that year off learning all I could about men, about relationships, about love, about dating, about everything, pretty much communication, but or everything. I completely reprogrammed myself. And after that year, I said, okay, I'm ready. I got on eHarmony on the computer. There weren't even dating apps back then. And yes, I went on 200 first dates in 2 years,
All on eHarmony.
all on eHarmony. Um, yes, and then things started to shape in a way that I really didn't feel aligned with the place I was living. I was in Florida at the moment.
Mhm.
So I moved to Las Vegas. Uh, I had a sister here, so I wanted to be close to family. And so when I moved here, I stopped eHarmony. I transferred it, but I couldn't figure it out, the logistics of driving. This is a funny story. I will show up to the dates an hour late just because I will get lost in the city, like driving around in circles. So I said, okay, figure it out, the how to get to places at least first. And while I was doing that, I am a runner. I joined a running club on my first meetup. Uh, there was this guy, and I saw him. I thought, wow, he's hot. But on the back of my head, I said, hold your horses, Natalia. Let's see who he is. The funny part, Julie, is that I never had a doubt in my heart that he was going to be into me, that he was single. I didn't know anything about him. I just made it, like I just knew it. For some reason, but I said, let's see who he is. I want to see who he is as a human being. I had always been with very hot guys, very attractive, very successful. So the exterior, the list was there, but inside we weren't aligned. So I was very crystal clear on what I wanted. So anyway, over 16 years later, we are still together, and so we have been married for over 10 years, and he's a great guy. And so all that story of mine and working with women all these years, um, I just started to get asked, why don't you help me with my love life? I really the business is okay. I want to meet a great guy. I want to create my happily ever after. When it just happened organically that when I was having these deep conversations with women, if they didn't have it yet, they will just lean into that area. They wanted that, they yearned that. That was their deepest desire. And I was very good at it. So I started to pivot into helping women in this area. And now I have been doing it successfully for over 5 years full time. So,
Beautiful. Not uncommon that we had an issue that was challenging for us. We broke it into bits. We learned about it. We accomplished the mission. And isn't it just natural to want to help other people who are aspiring to go through the same journey? So that is a beautiful thing. What do you see? You've been focused on specifically women looking for who are strong, capable, accomplished, on top of their game in all these other areas of life. But this one little piece seems to be eluding them. What do you see as the missing piece? Why do we have so many smart, successful women still having a hard time when it comes to dating and magnetizing a truly good man?
what I have seen the most happening is that because these women are so successful, they are professionals, they are CEOs, CFOs, they have been able to build a certain level of success in their professional life. And when their love life isn't working, they kind of like intuitively go into what I call the weeds. They make it mean two things, that it's either their fault, so they get into shame. There is a lot of shame behind this. I am not being able to find a high quality man to get married or create a long-term partnership. So they make it about themselves, that there is something wrong with them, or that they are either too old or too fat, or they don't live in the right city, or that they are intimidating men because of their success. So there is a lot of making it about myself and making it about myself being wrong or not enough or too much or not being safe. Any kind, it looks in any shape or form like that. And that's a mistake because it's not about that. And the second thing that they do is, if they don't do that, they make men wrong or they make their situation wrong. So it's, oh, there are not good men around. There are not enough men, successful men around. The men I want are not interested in me. So they make it about an exterior thing. So that is the first thing to distinguish, is that these two ways of seeing it are not really real. It's not a reality. It's just the way we intuitively go as women when things don't go our way in our love life. What is really happening is the real missing part, the part that they are not able to see, is that it's something deeper than that. Is something deeper than that. And that when they get stuck in those two ways of seeing it, those two ways of seeing it keep them stuck because it's a place where they lose their power. There is no empowerment. If there is something wrong with me, what can I do? And if there are no good men around, what can I do? So that's the main issue with those two things. It's not that there is something wrong with them for having these thoughts, is that it keeps them stuck, it keeps them in the weeds. So there is another way of seeing it that actually empowers them, that actually makes them see that they have a possibility, they have a way out of that. And this missing part is when they get in touch with the fact that probably they had a lack of healthy feminine role models when they were growing up.
Mm.
During those imprinting years from 0 to 8, more or less, they really didn't have a strong feminine role model that was at the same time soft and nurturing in their love life. They didn't have that woman that could be assertive on her needs and at the same time be, like open and receptive and life living and in their feminine energy. So that is the first missing part. And that is something that can be learned. It can be learned as adults. That's actually part of the teaching I do. I teach them how to be in their feminine energy, how to align both sides, the strong go-getter businesswoman with the more softer, the more nurturing, the more caring side of themselves. And the other missing part is, on the other hand, maybe they didn't have good male role models in their lives. So maybe they were in a household where their dad overprotect them, for example. So they were never really graduated into being a woman. They are still into the archetype of the girl, where they think that men have all their power, that where they are really, really hopeless when it comes to men. Or maybe they didn't have a male role model in their life at all because their dad wasn't there for any reason. So the lack of strong male role models is something that also is not helping them, is missing in their lives because they don't have an idea of how it looks like for a man to be in their healthy masculine energy in a relationship. Their dad maybe was mistreating their mom, or he wasn't there, or maybe he had an addiction. So all these is also a very empowering to know because we can heal from that. Okay. And the third part, the third missing part that I'm going to talk about it now is culture. Maybe they were exposed to a culture where there wasn't a clear idea for them of what being a woman was in the culture, what a healthy woman is in a culture. Maybe they were exposed to a culture where being feminine and being soft and being receiving was equal to being weak. Actually, up until I believe 15 years ago, if we had looked in the dictionary in the States for the word feminine, one of the meanings is weak. And if we will look on the dictionary for the word masculine, one of the many meanings was power. So, of course, if we grow up in a culture where we are encouraged to be go-getters and be successful in life, who wants to be weak? If being feminine, being soft, being receiving means weak, of course we are going to completely shut down those parts. So those are the three missing parts, some of the missing parts that are, I find it to be really, really empowering because we can learn to be in a different way if we have any one of those missing parts in our mindset.
And you're inviting us also to redefine for ourselves what it is to be a woman in today's world.
Absolutely.
There's something that I like to encourage women to do, and I use this myself. I call it the toggle switch, where we can actively choose, consciously choose to shift between masculine energy and feminine energy. You and I were speaking earlier about we have a similar kind of way that we do our work right around, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Our brain kind of turns to mush. And what we want to do is transition from work mode to the other side of us, which is a wife, a family person, not the strong businesswoman that we have to be to accomplish our goals. So my question to you is, what do you recommend for us girls to activate the toggle switch? What works for you to switch between your business self and your more feminine flowing energy that your husband likely prefers?
That is a great, great question. And I really like the analogy of hats. Like we wear one hat when we are in our professional mode, and we wear another hat when we are on our love life. So, and I like to imagine that I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So the sun here most of the year is like, so we have to protect our skin against the sun. So this hat is kind of protecting our skin. So we need a ritual to shift from one hat to the other one. Okay, so we don't get all burned out. So the hat that I like to things make fun and pretty and very visual. So the hat for work could be a fedora, and the hat for our love life could be I don't know, one of the hats that women wear at the horse races. What's the
Yeah.
name?
Or like Easter Sunday bonnet or something.
Right, something pretty with flowers and big and feminine. So if you are working outside of your house, nowadays a lot of us work from home, but most people still work from outside of the house. I will say on the drive home or on the commute to home, have a playlist. I have a playlist on my Spotify that I call it Feminine Energy, very clear. So have a playlist of music that really puts you into that energy, that allows you to connect to your center, to connect with your vision of who you are in your love life. Also, spray yourself with some nice perfume, a nice cologne that reminds you, that is a trigger. So in my work, we call them hinging points. So it's a hinging point. It's like the door that has a hinge. It's
Mhm.
something that allows you to open the door to your feminine energy. So I invite you to discover your own hinging points. Could be music if you are very auditory. Could be a smell. Could be a perfume if you are good with your nose. It could be a mantra, a meditation. It could be that you have. I have a client that keeps in her hood on the car sandals, like very girlish looking sandals, and she changes from her high heels suit looking like high heels to those sandals. So maybe have a blouse or something in the hood that you change. So it's a lot like being Wonder Woman, that you kind of twist around and you become somebody different. But I want to be very real and emphasize that it does take an effort, it does take an intention of switching. But
Yeah,
once you get in the mood and you switch, it's a practice, it becomes natural.
I love it. I agree 100%. I'm thinking of this one client that I worked with who's a trial attorney, a tough trial attorney, and she's also beautiful and has lots of feminine qualities to her, but it doesn't show up. Like when she comes into a room, you see strong, powerful businesswoman. And so we were talking about these things, and very often when I would set her on a date, it would be in downtown Los Angeles because that's where her office was. And she didn't have time to go back to Woodland Hills and then meet somebody. So she would carry a little bag with her. And I said to her, you've got to have, 15 or 20 minutes, ideally a half an hour or more between your work schedule and your date.
Yeah.
So find a bathroom in your big office building, probably not your normal bathroom, a different bathroom on a different floor, perhaps, and change into something that makes you feel more like a woman. And yes, dab a little perfume or a little lavender or something. She likes to change her underwear from her
Oh,
normal underwear to sexy underwear, even though this man is probably not going to see that underwear.
right.
She also found that if she brushes her teeth and
Mm.
flosses her teeth, it gets rid of the day and segues into a different part. She'll change the way she has her hair. She might, put it up or she might put it down. However, she just morphs into a different person, and that helps her tremendously. Um, Now, I have another question for you. You had mentioned to me earlier that there's something we can do as women to understand men in order to shift out of the frustration we might have over the way he's being or the way men are into attraction. So you have a secret for how to transition between frustration and attraction. I'm dying to know what it is.
Thank you, Julie. And I love what you just said. Those all are hinging points, and yours were really good too. So, yes, it's just a matter of finding what works with us. So, yes, answering your question, I think it's important to start from the basics. I don't know, that's the way my brain works. So, let's go back to the basics, the foundation. We are looking for love. We are looking for our happily ever after. We cannot ever forget about that, that's our North Star. Okay? So we cannot love what we don't understand. Period. We can't. So understanding men, it's a huge component of finding and creating long-lasting love with a great guy. We need to, and this everything I said, by the way, it's for men too. I just happen to work with women, but if I were coaching a man, I'll say the same. You need to understand women. Okay, I want to say it. So we really, really need to understand men in order to love them. Because if we don't, we are going to just carry our concepts about them. And if we don't understand them, we are really, really going to get frustrated. We are going to get discouraged because they can behave and they can act in ways that don't make sense to us, in ways that we can get hurt or triggered. So I think it's very, very important that we take our time to understand men. And one of the things that I would like to share today about men that a lot of women don't understand, and this was the first thing I particularly learned about men. That's why it's so dear to my heart, and I like to say it because I am personally biased. So, but understanding that men want to make us happy.
I love that they think they can. I think that's just adorable.
But understand that that's their intention when they are relating to us, rather than believing that they want to use us, that they want to have access to our body, to our beauty, to our energy, and then just leave. A big component of my coaching program is aligning my clients with this concept of seeing the goodness in men. And of course, we are not going to go blind and think that 100% of men are good. Of course not. There is a 10% of the population in general, regarding of their sex, that are going to be part of the dark triad, which is Machiavellic, psychopaths, and narcissists. But that's 10%, and we can relatively easily learn how to discern from those. The rest of the men, they want to make us happy. Now, not all of them can, but having this mindset, seeing men with these frames of, okay, he may be failing right now, but his intention is good. He wants to make me happy. He wants to please me. He wants to protect me. He wants to provide for me. So when we really, really, really get on board with this mindset and we start to see men under this frame, the whole energetics changes between him and I. And love, ladies, a man doesn't fall in love because of your resume. It doesn't fall in love long term because of your looks. Of course, the looks open the door, but they don't stay because of that. I am proof of that.
Mm.
um, so really, it's our energy. They fall in love with the way they feel about themselves when they are with us. So if we have this energy of, wow, let's see, I'm going to go on this date with this guy and I'm going to allow myself to be surprised. Let's see how his style of pleasing women, providing for women, trying to keep them safe, making them happy. Let's see if that fits with what I want. So that way we are relaxed, we are open, we feel safe, we can receive. So this is very, very, very important.
I really like, I can tell that you've studied a great deal about this and you've integrated lots of different coaching perspectives into your unique way of doing this. Um, I'm trying to think in 35 years being a matchmaker and a dating coach, if there's ever been a man who's asked me for a woman who is difficult to please. And I don't think I've ever heard it.
Right?
Men don't look for women who are difficult to please. I love the way you said that he falls in love with the way he feels when he's with her. And if we're the type of woman who has learned how to appreciate men and value their unique gifts, fan the flame when they're doing something that makes us happy, letting him know that that works for us. We're encouraging him to give us more of that. And he knows he has a way to win with us, right?
Absolutely. And absolutely. And that is the point number two it's perfect segue because you just said it. It's understanding that men are wired to win. So I like to say, imagine again, living in Vegas. I'm completely influenced by my environment, as we all are. But here in Vegas, if you go to the strip or downtown Vegas, you see all these billboards with gaming, pinball, all these lights. So I like to give this image of men having a big billboard on top of their head that says win. A man wants to win. So when a man feels that he's winning with us, and by that is he opens the door of our car and we are like, oh, thank you, that feels good. Or if he pays for dinner, wow, that it feels good. It feels so romantic when you do that for me. I appreciate it. Or when he tells us, you look beautiful tonight. Oh, thank you. It feels so good to hear that. When we say those things, that billboard on a good man, always talking about the good men, goes winning, 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 winning. It's like jackpot. So a good man will want to do more of that. Men are, in a way, super simple. They are a lot more simple than we are as women, and they thrive. They really, really want to do more of what it works for us. That's why if we say we like tomato salad, they will take us to a tomato salad bar every day because they want us happy and they want to win. When we rather than if we go on a date and he's like, wow, you look so beautiful tonight. And we are like, oh, this old rag. Or if we drop something on the floor, let's say we drop our lipstick on the floor or the wall, whatever it is that we drop, and he picks it up. No, no, I got it. Don't worry. A man feels loose, loose. I can't win with this woman. Where is my place in this woman's life? Men
Mm.
are not intimidated by success at all. What the men wants to feel is that there is a place for them in our lives. So we can be very successful. I have so many friends and so many clients that are very successful, and they have been able to marry, get engaged to a great guy that adores them and cherishes them, and they are not intimidated by their success.
Mm.
All the contrary, they support them.
Hmm.
My own story, my husband is far from intimidated. I say, oh my God, for example, back in the day, I'm gonna start to make videos. Next thing I know, he's coming back home with microphones, to make my video audio better. He's always trying to support me. And even if I maybe didn't want that brand of microphones, I wanted another brand, I had my eyes, I'll accept it and say, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that makes such a big difference. Authentically.
Yes.
I authentically feel it. And so that is a big one, the second one, winning.
Right. I am loving all of this. You mentioned to me that the third essential thing that we girls need to know about men if we want to inspire commitment and lasting love. What is it? Is it related to this winning thing?
It's all related because it's all who men are, so it's a big melange of things, but it's a little bit different. I believe it's really important for our own peace of mind and for us as women to be able to relax into love and be able to be like, I'm safe. I trust him. He may be doing something that I wouldn't do. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's who he is. And he's a separate human being than me. And it's the fact that men are single focused. We as women are powerhouses. We are the shakers and movers. We are keeping this world going around. We are life givers. The world would die if we are not here. And that makes us extraordinary. We can multitask. We can do 10,000 things at the same time. We can be feeding a baby, listening to our best friend, crying on the phone and giving her advice, supporting her. And we can be at the same time thinking what we are going to be cooking for dinner. And mistakenly, we believe that men are the same. So we have an expectation from them to behave in the same way. And men are single focused. They focus their attention, they are goal oriented, they are linear. The healthy masculine energy, it's very linear. He goes from 1 to 2 to 3. There is a process for everything. There is I'm always trying to get somewhere and win. And so how this looks like in personal life. I'll give you an example of a client. She used to get so upset and pick fights and feel bad about herself. And with this amazing guy, she was engaged to, and they were living together. That was incredible at all levels, but this particular thing was causing so much troubles on her peace and on her ability to really go, okay, he's the one. I'm marrying him. And it was the fact that he'll come back from work and open the garage door, and she'll go there to the garage and say, "Hi, honey, how are you?" And and the guy will be like, like closed in, even grouchy, grumpy. He'll ignore her sometimes, and she'll be heartbroken, like any single healthy woman would be if she doesn't understand what I am about to say. When I taught her, when she understood and embodied the fact that men are single focused, and in this case, he needed some time to shift from working mode to family mode. He also needed that time that we talked a little while ago, you and I. when she got that, she was like, oh, okay. So I mentor her, I coach her into staying in her own place, being centered, being grounded, being, doing her thing in the bedroom, whatever she was doing, fixing her clothing or removing her makeup or fixing up dinner or being in the backyard with the plants, walking her dog, whatever. Not going out there greeting him, giving him space for his shift and see what happened. So she did it, and what happened? He came back into the house and he was like, honey, where are you? Where are you? Are you here? Are you there? Until he found her and he hugged her and things started on the right foot. So,
She let him have that transition time, and then she kind of waited until he was ready to come to her.
right.
So she probably had to relax any kind of anxiety or anxious attachment style and go to a place of he'll come when he's ready, when he's had a chance to catch his breath. I remember my father, when he came home from work, he always did the same thing. I think he probably went over and kissed my mother hello, but he went straight back to his bedroom. He changed his clothes. He dropped everything out of his pockets. And once he changed into his play clothes, then he was ready. And then the next thing he did, of course, was he went to the bar and made himself a big fat scotch, okay? Which led to all kinds of other problems in our in our family. But he had a routine. And then once he was set for the evening, he would
Right.
sit down and talk with my mom about the day, and they would have 20 or 30 minutes every day that they would do that. And she would have dinner prepared pretty much, and then she'd give him that time, and then she would finish preparing dinner. And that's the way it went 5 days a week in our home. And it was a beautiful kind of a ritual that I watched them go through. And she somehow knew. She hadn't been studying with Allison Armstrong or anybody. She just somehow knew that when dad got home from work and he had his very stern face, that she needed to just let him transform into Family Guy. And that's what she did.
That's a beautiful example. That is a beautiful example.
So, two questions. One is your last name really Hart?
No, it's not my real last name.
It's
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I love that your last name is Hart. Natalia Hart coaching.com is how they find you. What kind of work do you do? Like, what does it look like? What's your process in working with people? What do you offer to strong, successful women who want to learn what Natalia has mastered?
Oh, thank you for asking me that because right now I am in the middle of my launch. I am enrolling, so I'm doing calls all the time. So I have a program that I am enrolling women right now. It's called the Calling in Your King Method. It's a 90-day high touch, high value mentorship program where I guide women, single women. It works for single women that are dating without results or that they want to start dating right away with results. So I guide them through the process of going from single and having a hard time meeting a high value men to learning absolutely all the skills and abilities that will secure them to land a great guy.
Love it. So it's a 90-day process. And I'm assuming that your clients are not just in Las Vegas, but they're all over.
Correct. It's an online program. We meet once a week for a live coaching call, and they also get a whole curriculum, a whole library of video trainings that everything they get to keep for life. And they also get daily coaching from me. So that's the part that makes it really different is that their constant support when they are having a breakdown. I am there helping them, telling them, okay, text this, text that, do this, be in this way. And when they're having a breakthrough, like a celebration, I celebrate with them. It's really high touch program. Yes.
Very wonderful. So if they want to find you, they go to nataliahartcoaching.com. And it occurs to me that I'm going to check in with you and schedule another call for you and me because it's beautiful if your students have an opportunity to jump into a matchmaker's network.
Absolutely.
So they can be found. Um, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I have lots of high-level matchmaking clients. I'm their personal matchmaker, but I also have a community service division, and I provide a lot of free introductions for people because I don't want matchmaking to be reserved only to high net worth people who've decided it's worth spending this kind of money to hire a matchmaker. I want to be able to serve a much greater audience, which is part of the reason for my podcast and YouTube and social media, but introductions too. And just so you know how it works, I know you appreciate that for a man, the first level, the door opening, as you mentioned, is the visuals. And it's not because men are superficial and shallow. It's way deeper than that. It's
Well,
way bigger than that. Um, and so I always go to the man first and make sure he's available. I make sure his profile is up to date, his photos are current, and then I get a chance to share the profile of the woman I'm thinking about. And if he says, "Oh, I'm not really attracted," or "She's not the right person for me," that's as far as it goes. I don't tell her that I took a hit for her that day. I take the hit. But if he gives me the yes response, I'm super excited because then I have a suitor for her. I'm thinking of a gentleman that I worked with in Las Vegas, and he became my matchmaking client. And one of my challenges was I didn't have enough people in Las Vegas. So it's really good that I have you in Las Vegas because you probably have lots and lots of people in your world, men and women both, who might appreciate an introduction. So we'll be able to create a fun collaborative adventure for your clients. It's perfect. By the way, that gentleman is married. I got him
oh,
married. He had another home in Los Angeles. And so I said to him, I'll try in Las Vegas. And we did a couple of introductions through people that I know, but I had more introductions in Los Angeles, even though he doesn't really like Los Angeles. He'd much rather
mhm.
be in Las Vegas, but he met her there. And now they are building this beautiful life together. They are pregnant. I think the baby's alive now, out of
That
the
is
womb.
beautiful. Congratulations, Julie.
It's really fun. So matchmakers collaborate. We really enjoy collaborating with other people. And what we have going on here in my world is a multi-tiered approach so that I'm able to provide introductions when I can. I don't promise them unless somebody signed on with me as a matchmaking client. I don't promise these free introductions, and I
Yeah.
make them happen every day. Today, from this desk, I provide more of these free mitzvah matches than I do introductions for my high-level clients. And I've hired somebody to help me create more of them. So it's really a lovely way. It's not something that a lot of the other matchmakers are adopting because it
Mm-mm. It's
takes
the
a lot
first time I hear this.
yeah, but I don't know if you know this part about me. I met my husband through a dating agency.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Yeah, he signed me up at his agency and I paid a bunch of money. And then I eventually had a chance to look through the books and start making selections. It was before we had online dating. And I didn't see any men I was interested in. And I was thinking, oh my goodness gracious, did I just waste $1,450? That was what I was worried about. And I thought, well, let's check in with that guy who took all my money. We had a really fun interview, and I knocked on his door and I flirted with him and I asked him out on a date, and that's how that all happened.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it.
So
I
always have the
definitively think it's very valuable what you do. It's extremely valuable what you do, and I will definitely collaborate with you
it'll
because
be really fun. And I love that you experienced the challenges first. Similar. And then you studied the landscape. And then you studied how to be a great coach. And you built your own formula for how to help women achieve what it is that you've achieved. Very similar. Congratulations on doing that.
oh, thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
really glad we're connected. So I'm going to follow up with you and schedule a call for the two of us so we can talk about collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to pay attention. If you are a woman and you are inspired by what Natalia does, check her out, nataliahartcoaching.com, and see what she has to provide for you. I can tell she's very good at what she does. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go out there and transform me to we for yourself. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.